Jodie Heumann, in reflecting on her life, wrote, and I quote, "Change never happens at a pace we think it should. It happens over years of people joining together, strategizing, sharing, and pulling all the levers they possibly can." Well, that's the story we're celebrating here today. Progress hard fought and won, making real our nation's founding promise that every American has a right to be recognized and respected for who they are. And millions of Americans with disability, this is the source of the empower. This is the essence of the disability pride. Today, I'm announcing my administration has approved an additional $9 billion in relief for 125,000 borrowers in just the past few weeks under that program. With the latest debt cancellation, in total, my administration has canceled $127 billion in student debts for nearly 3.6 million Americans. This kind of relief is life-changing for individuals and their families, but it's good for our economy as a whole as well. By freeing millions of Americans from the crushing burden of student debt, it means they can go and get their lives in order. They can think about buying a house, they can start a business, they can be starting a family. This matters. It matters in their daily lives. Good news today. This morning we learned the economy created 336,000 jobs in September alone. That means since I've taken office, we've created 13.9 million new jobs. You heard me say it before, I'm going to keep saying it. My dad had an expression. He said, "Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it." Well, 336,000 more Americans, if they have children, can say that to their children and mean it. In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world and to terrorists everywhere that the United States stands with Israel. We will not ever fail to have their back. We'll make sure that they have the help their citizens need and they can continue to defend themselves. Any country, any organization, anyone thinking of taking advantage of this situation, I have one word: don't. Don't. Our hearts may be broken, but our resolve is clear. Junk fees, those hidden charges that companies sneak into your bill to make you pay more because they can. Charges that are taking real money out of the pockets of American families. These junk fees can add up hundreds of dollars, weighing down family budgets, making it harder to pay family bills. Over the past 2 years, my administration has taken, with the help of the members of Congress, a number of steps to crack down on unfair and deceptive junk fees in banking, hotels, concert, airlines, rental housing, cable, internet, healthcare, a whole range of issues.
Please welcome the President of the United honored to be with all of you today as an American, as a patriot who loves this country, but also as a Jew. I know many of us feel a deep fear that these attacks will, unfortunately, and already have, led to a rise in hate and anti-Semitism. We're already seeing it. And that's why this discussion and the work you and your organizations do is so vitally important. The story of the Jewish people has always been one of perseverance and resilience. In dark times, we come together and we fight back, and we also seek to build a better world.
That expression I learned from my dad early on, silence is complicity. Silence is complicity, it really is. And I want you to know, I think you've already figured it out, I refuse to be silent, and I know you refuse to be silent as well. We must all do our part and forcefully speak out against anti-Semitism and push back against the attempts to deny or distort the facts. To make clear, there is no place for hate in America. Not against Jews, not against Muslims, not against anybody. Folks, there's no higher priority. And I know that people get on and talk to you and say they have an idea what it's like. But I know from experience, there's not a single thing more worrisome than have someone you love, someone you adores you, and not knowing their fate. Not knowing their fate. You made it clear to the importance this is to you, to me personally, and to all the American people. And it really is. It really, really is. We're not walking away. We're not walking away, I promise you.
Yes. I'm a dear friend of Pat Gillespie's.
I made it a goal for our country to get to net zero emissions from pollutants no later than 2050. Clean hydrogen is going to help us meet that goal. When it comes to charging our cars or powering our homes, all we need is clean electricity. But when it comes to manufacturing things like steel, aluminum, and other materials, factories need to process materials at over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit to get that done. You need to burn fuel to get that done. You can't get it done with wind and solar projects. You cannot generate that much energy. That's where hydrogen comes in. I'm here to announce one of the largest advanced manufacturing investments in the history of this nation. $7 billion in federal investments. It's going to attract $40 billion in private investment in clean hydrogen and power of the economy.
Each of you, your backgrounds, your experiences, your perspectives, breathes life and color and texture into this house.
We celebrate Hispanic heritage and Hispanic history all year round. We also celebrate the incredible vibrancy of the Hispanic community, the creativity and the ingenuity and the optimism. We are proud that since we took office, We have seen record Latino small business growth. The president and I are also proud to have invested $15 billion in our Hispanic serving institutions. There are going to be many times in your life where you are the only one that looks like you when you enter that boardroom, that meeting room, that briefing room, that courtroom. We here are all applauding you being in that room, and we are imposing on you the responsibility then to walk in those rooms with pride.
Thank you for shaping this house and our country in a significant and meaningful way.
Since this terrorist attack took place, we've seen it described as Israel's 9/11. The scale may be different, but I'm sure those horrors have tapped into some kind of primal feeling in Israel, just like it did and felt in the United States. Shock, pain, rage, an all-consuming rage. You can't look at what has happened here to your mothers, your fathers, your grandparents, sons, daughters, children, even babies, and not scream out for justice. Justice must be done. The United States unequivocally stands for the protection of civilian life during conflict, and I truly grieve for the families who were killed or wounded by this tragedy. The people of Gaza need food, water, medicine, shelter. Today I asked the Israeli cabinet, who I met with for some time this morning, to agree to the delivery of life-saving humanitarian assistance to civilians in Gaza. Israel agreed the humanitarian assistance can begin to move from Egypt to Gaza. Good evening, my fellow Americans. We're facing an inflection point in history. One of those moments where the decisions we make today are going to determine the future for decades to come. Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but they share this in common. They both want to completely annihilate a neighboring democracy, completely annihilate it. Hamas' stated purpose for existing is the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. Hamas uses Palestinian civilians as human shields, and innocent Palestinian families are suffering greatly because of them. I know these conflicts can seem far away, and it's natural to ask, why does this matter to America? So let me share with you why making sure Israel and Ukraine succeed is vital for America's national security. You know, history has taught us that when terrorists don't pay a price for their terror, when dictators don't pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos and death and more destruction. They keep going, and the cost and the threats to America and the world keep rising. That's why tomorrow I'm going to send to Congress an urgent budget request to fund America's national security needs, to support our critical partners, including Israel and Ukraine. It's a smart investment that's going to pay dividends for American security for generations. Help us keep American troops out of harm's way. Help us build a world that is safer, more peaceful, more prosperous for our children and grandchildren. Yesterday, in discussions with the leaders of Israel and Egypt, I secured an agreement for the first shipment of humanitarian assistance from the United Nations to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. If Hamas does not divert or steal this shipment, we're going to provide an opening for sustained delivery of life-saving humanitarian assistance for the Palestinians. As I said in Israel, as hard as it is, we cannot give up on peace. We cannot give up on a two-state solution. Israel and Palestinians equally deserve to live in safety, dignity, and peace. In recent years, too much hate has given too much oxygen, fueling racism, the rise of antisemitism, and Islamophobia, right here in America. It's also intensified in the wake of recent events that led to the horrific threats and attacks that both shock us and break our hearts. We can't stand by and stand silent when this happens. We must, without equivocation, denounce anti-Semitism. We must also, without equivocation, denounce Islamophobia. And to all you hurting, those of you hurting, I want you to know I see you. You belong. And I want to say this to you. You're all America. You're all America. Madam President, Mr. President, it's great to see you both again. Last summit, we committed to revitalizing the partnership between the EU and the United States. Over the last 2 years, we made good on that commitment I made. And we stood together to support the brave people of Ukraine in the face of Putin's aggression. and we stood together to tackle the economic challenges and establish standards to guide our relationship with China. And we're standing together now to support Israel in the wake of Hamas's appalling terrorist attack. And I just think that it's been one of the great pleasures of my presidency to be able to work with all of you. I mean that sincerely. So I want to thank you both for being here and for your unwavering commitment to our partnership.
Mr. President, here's Judith and Alex.
Hey, Judith.
Hello, President.
I'm so glad you're home. Or not home, I'm glad you're out.
Thank you so very, very much.
Hey, Nat, how are you? God love you.
I just want to say thank you for your services for Israel.
Well, look, that's been long serving. I'm just delighted we're able to get you out. We've been working on it a long time. We're gonna get them all out, God willing. I just want to say,
Really?
I hope you're both not only feeling good, but in good health as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are. And thank you very much. God bless you.
Well, God bless you guys. A tech hub is we're going to invest in critical technologies like biotechnology, critical materials, quantum computing, advanced manufacturing. So the U.S. will lead the world again in innovation across the board. These hubs all around the country will bring together private industry, higher education, state and local governments, tribes, and organized labor. Today, we're announcing that 31 tech hubs spread across the entire company will be able to compete for up to $75 million each to accelerate and scale up their work. We're doing this from coast to coast and in the heartland and red states and blue states, small towns, cities of all sizes. All this is part of my strategy to invest in America and invest in Americans. It's working. We're creating good jobs in communities all across the country, including places where for decades factories have been shut down, hollowed out when jobs moved overseas to find cheaper employment. Over the past few decades, these communities lost more than jobs. They lost their sense of dignity, of opportunity, sense of pride. We're going to change all that. Tech hubs are going to bring this work to where people live in communities all across America. Time and time again, we've seen what America and Australia can do when we stand as one. An alliance that's marked by imagination, ingenuity, and innovation. Welcome to the White House. Welcome to the Oval Office. It's been a long time coming.
Our alliance, I believe, has never been more important, and it's also never been stronger.
Over the past few weeks, and for many months before, we've seen each other, and we've seen our alliance grow more critical than ever. Jill and I are honored to welcome you tonight to celebrate the historic bonds between our two nations.
To the history our peoples have made together, but importantly, the future we will build together as a peoples.
The National Medal of Science is given for outstanding contributions to knowledge in the sciences, and the National Medal of Technology and Innovation for outstanding contributions to the promotion of technology for the improvement of the economic, environmental, and social well-being of the United States. For this year's recipients, outstanding may be an understatement. They're extraordinary. All the honorees, thank you, thank you, thank you for your courage, for your perseverance, and maybe most importantly, for your integrity. The greatness of a country is measured not only by the size of its economy, the strength of a nation is also measured by its boldness, of its science, quality, of its research, and the progress it helps bring forth for not only the country, but the whole world. In this administration, America will be the place where great science happens. We just have to remember who in God's name we are. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity if we set our mind to it and do it together.
we are lifting up President Biden in love. Father, as he continues on his journey of service, we ask that you keep him covered in your love.
Joey, keep the faith. My grandmother was no Joey, spread it. Executive order, safe, secure, and trustworthy development of the use of artificial intelligence. As artificial intelligence expands the boundary of human possibility and tests the bounds of human understanding, this landmark executive order is a testament to what we stand for: safety, security, trust, openness. Today, the Department of Labor is proposing a new rule, meaning that when you pay someone for retirement advice, they must give you advice that's in your best interest, not whether it gets them the best payday. If they don't, if they breach their fiduciary duty, they could face serious penalties, including having to pay restitution and additional financial penalties. It will protect seniors from being exploited. It will protect many trustworthy financial advisors out there who are doing the right thing from unfair competition. Now they won't be undercut by competitors willing to use deception or underhanded tactics to make a profit.